remember, he's in a motorized wheelchair. So the police officer writes him a ticket and said that he was in a unlicensed vehicle, an unregistered vehicle, and an untagged vehicle.
Oh my God.
And an uninsured vehicle. So he writes him, and he was impeding the flow of traffic. And impeding the flow of traffic is what caused the accident.
But he had no sidewalk to go
Vinnie.
Yeah.
You're obviously you're smarter than the police officer, but that's only the beginning.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of True Stories from a Real Private Eye. I'm your host, Vinnie Coppola. With me, as always, is Lynn Lambdin, a real private investigator right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks again for being here. We do so appreciate it, each and every one of you. What do you got for us this week, Lynn?
Vinnie, how you doing this week, my friend?
I'm doing good, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Well, Vinnie, this week I thought we'd talk about a story. Working on a case this week where actually I'm working on two cases where where these two people are in wheelchairs, two different cases, two separate cases, but they're in wheelchairs. So it got me to thinking about a case about, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago, where I worked on a case that a gentleman was in a wheelchair, and he was well, I'll just set the scene for you. He was, and this was his regular route that he took regularly. He would go down the sidewalk, and the sidewalk ended. And when the sidewalk ended, he would have to go out on the street, and then he would go on the street for about 200 yards, and then he would get back on the sidewalk, and then he would continue. And he was in a motorized wheelchair. And you talk about chaos. This created chaos. And
did you say 200 yards onto the street?
Yeah, well, about 150 yards, about a football field and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was no sidewalk, and this was poor city planning.
Yeah. And
this was the city of Smyrna, Georgia.
Okay.
Well, it was Cobb County, Georgia, and the city of Smyrna, Georgia, but they were pointing their fingers at each other because neither one of them wanted to accept blame.
Right.
And okay, let's just get into it. So the guy on this particular day, he comes out onto the street and he's going with the flow of traffic, and a car hits him.
Oh man.
And it almost kills him. I mean, he's in the hospital for weeks. And he's in a motorized wheelchair. So the police officer writes him a ticket and said that he was in a unlicensed vehicle, an unregistered vehicle, and an untagged vehicle.
Oh my God.
And an uninsured vehicle. So he writes him, and he was impeding the flow of traffic. And impeding the flow of traffic is what caused the accident.
But he had no sidewalk to go.
Vinnie.
Yeah.
You're obviously you're smarter than the police officer, but that's only the beginning.
Okay.
So no tag, no registrations, no license, impeding the flow of traffic, and no registration.
did the police officer know the guy in the car that hit the man or something?
Well, I mean, that's good speculation, Vinny.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, first off, if a car, I think it's 49 cc's, you do not even have to have an insurance on the car. You're not even required to have insurance. You're not required to have a tag or license.
you mean the size of the engine?
The size of the engine, exactly.
Wow.
So therefore, the no tag, no registration, no insurance, and no license was automatically thrown out of court.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
Exactly, because you're not required to have a license.
Right.
And secondly, it's not a motorized vehicle. It's a wheelchair.
Battery operated.
Battery operated. But you have battery. Back then, we didn't have very many battery operated cars. We had a few, Priuses and things like that.
Right.
But, and then he wrote him a ticket for impeding the flow of traffic like he was a vehicle.
Yeah.
But he was on the shoulder. He wasn't in the lane of traffic. He was on the shoulder.
Yeah.
But which there wasn't much of a shoulder. But if you were really talking about how the traffic would have been flowing, he would have been considered in the bicycle lane. So he would have had the right of way. But this was a handicap person, and the car had room to miss him.
Yeah.
So there was all kinds of. I don't know if the police officer hated handicapped people,
Right.
or I don't know if the cop had run-ins with this guy before.
Oh, was just an idiot.
Well, that was the conclusion that I came to.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was really no reason for the person in the car to hit the wheelchair, except he wasn't paying attention.
Right. I have a theory.
Drinking?
What, the handicap dude?
No, the guy in the car.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't consider that. I was going to say that this occurred right when this police officer was about to go on lunch. So he was all pissed off.
Yeah.
And took it out on the guy, on the handicap dude, because this guy was starving and he wanted some Chick-fil-A or something or whatever.
A donut.
Yeah. and he was all pissed off. So he said, "Damn it, I'm writing this guy 3 tickets. I don't care.
Well,
I don't care if it makes no sense at all."
Yeah.
He was angry. He was angry, as the kids say.
He was donut hungry.
Donut hungry, yeah.
Yeah, he had to leave the Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. He missed the hot now sign.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Krispy Kreme does that. And let me tell you something, Vinny. Not to get off track.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever been to a Krispy Kreme when those glazed donuts are rolling off the rack hot.
Are you kidding? I used to travel with James Gregory.
You couldn't drive by Krispy Kreme.
You couldn't drive by Krispy Kreme with that sign flashing.
Yeah.
That sign flash and James would go, "Look, Vinny, my car's just turning. It's just turning."
Yeah, those are some of the best donuts in the world.
Oh my God.
Man, let me tell you something. When I first moved to Atlanta, I used to work, next door to a Krispy Kreme. And every morning when I'd get to work, they'd be making those donuts. And I spend most of my mornings right there.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the best donuts in the world.
Without a doubt. And, Krispy Kreme should pay us some money for.
Yes, they should.
for this little advertisement. But anyway. That's my theory. My theory is that this guy wanted a donut. He saw the hot now flashing, but he had to take care of this, and he got all pissed off.
Yeah. Well, so the hard part is since the police officer blamed our guy, we had to fight to overturn everything before we could even get a claim filed with the other party's insurance to get them to accept liability.
Unbelievable.
Well, the insurance company knew that it was all just BS. But if you give the insurance company a reason to fight, they're going to fight, regardless if it's legitimate or not.
Yeah.
All they need is a reason. They don't need a legitimate reason. They just need a reason.
Yeah, because they definitely don't like to pay.
Well, no, they're not. They don't like to pay. They're not going to pay.
Right.
And so thank God this guy hired a firm, and in this firm he was appointed the best attorney in the firm. And this attorney was, I mean, he was just so on it. He knew exactly how to handle it, and he was a hoss. He is a hoss. He's a wonderful attorney. Yeah. And so we got on it and got to working on it. And I have to go out and I measure everything. I measure the distance and everything. So we actually brought a claim against the city and the county and and he was actually going to a bus stop. And that's another problem with the whole claim, is that in order for this guy who's in a wheelchair to get to the bus stop, he has to go, he can't cross the road, because in order for you to cross the road, there has to be a legal crossing.
Yeah.
And there's no legal crossing for him to cross the road. In order for him to cross the road, he has to travel this same path.
Right.
So in order for him to get to this bus stop, he had to travel this path, and he can't drive his motorized cart with no, where there's, it was unsafe, or his motorized cart wouldn't even travel where there was no path there, because it was just rocks and dirt and a cliff, not a cliff, but a drop off and a ditch, and and well, also
shouldn't the city or the county make it safe or for handicapped people, or just pedestrians in general?
Well,
by putting in a crosswalk, by putting in a sidewalk, by I mean, isn't that a requirement?
Well, there is a crosswalk where the guy was going to catch the bus. There was a crosswalk there.
Oh, I see.
But even if you were walking this path to go to the bus stop, you would step over into the edge of the road and walk this 150 yards and get back up on because it's a ditch, and if it's raining, there's water in the ditch.
Yeah.
So, but since this accident, I don't know if the accident had anything to do with it. They have put in sidewalk to complete the 150 yards. They have put in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Since then, but that's been about 12 years. But 5 or 6 years after, they put in a sidewalk there. So
he won the case. The lawyer.
Yeah, we won. We ended up winning the case. We won the case. But you talk about a hassle. We had to fight we had to fight. First of all, we had to fight the criminal aspect of it. We had to wait till the court date and go in front of the judge and explain to the judge why he shouldn't be written these tickets, why this wasn't a motorized vehicle, and and then we had to explain to the judge why he wasn't impeding the flow of traffic, and
right.
then we had to show pictures of why he couldn't be on, why he couldn't continue straight, why he had to move over 4 feet and be in the edge of the road instead of maintaining the straight path, why he had to move over. And so the judge dismissed all the tickets, but the no insurance ticket was a no-brainer. They dismissed that one. The uninsured was a no-brainer. The no registration being a driving with no registration as driving as a car, that was, all those was dismissible. The only one that was really impeding the flow of traffic, that's the one that we had to show why he was in the edge of the road. That was the only one we had to go fight. And then once we got that one dismissed, everything else was kind of easy from that path on. But we did have to fight, and we did have to file a lawsuit and go to court to win that, because the insurance company they dug in, they fought, and they said, no, your guy was in the road. Our guy hit him. Well, what about all the other thousands of cars that passed him that didn't hit him?
Right.
Well, what about all those cars?
Yeah.
How did they miss him?
Yeah. Right.
It wasn't like,
good point.
This wasn't the very first car that passed him. They were other cars that passed him. They all missed him.
Yeah.
Your guy was distracted. But we took it to court and we won it. It was pretty simple once we got it into court to show that, because I went out and I measured the road and I showed that there was enough room for him.
How did you not get hit by a car doing all this?
Vinnie, I've measured so many roadways. I got a wheel.
Yeah.
That you just take
right. Yeah.
You just
let me ask you something. Now, I don't mean to be morbid or anything like that, but this guy, he was in a wheelchair, obviously couldn't walk. Was he a paraplegic? What was the story?
He was paralyzed from the waist down.
Okay. This I'm not trying to be funny by asking this question, but I am genuinely curious. When he was hit by the car, what further damage did they do to him? I mean, he already can't walk.
If I'm remembering correctly, it broke his collarbone.
Ouch.
And it broke one of his arms. And he had all kinds of facial lacerations, had stitches in his head.
Yeah.
And messed up his wheelchair. His wheelchair didn't operate anymore.
Yeah.
And those wheelchairs totaled his wheelchair.
Yeah.
And those wheelchairs are expensive, Vinnie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So they had to buy him a new wheelchair.
And did he get a good settlement?
Yes, he got a very nice settlement.
Okay.
Yep, he got a very nice settlement.
This episode is brought to you by Simple Funding LLC. For all of your pre-settlement funding needs, contact Simple Funding LLC to receive your money promptly. They're a customer-centric legal funding company that provides exceptional funding solutions at affordable rates. Simple Funding covers a diverse range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, worker compensation, medical malpractice, wrongful death, and more. They recognize that life goes on and you need to access your funds immediately, which is why they offer clients a swift and efficient process with minimal documentation requirements. For more information, visit simplefundingllc.com or contact them directly at 678-855-6232.
The state of Georgia don't have the best insurance in the world, but they do, it depends on what you decide to carry. You got 25, 50, 50, 100, 100, 300, 300, 500, 500, a million, just depends on what you decide to carry. Most people carry, 25, 50, which is not very much. I don't remember this guy. I think that this was a commercial policy. I'm not 1,000% on that, but I think it was a minimum of $100,000 policy.
Okay.
But he got a pretty nice settlement.
Okay. Well, good for him.
But to be honest with you, the guy had a pretty level head on him. He said, I'll heal. I need a wheelchair. I can't walk. He said, I just want my wheelchair replaced.
Yeah. And I would think that the county or the state or something would be liable for not making the area safe for pedestrians or wheelchairs. I would think that there would be a case against them.
Well, the first law that every government entity writes when they come into existence.
What's that?
You can't sue us.
Is that right?
Yeah. Immunity. Every government entity writes the law of immunity when they come into existence.
But haven't there been cases against the state, cases against the county, and
yes, but to overcome that immunity is extremely difficult. Wow. It has to be extreme negligence to overcome immunity.
Yeah,
I mean, it has to be.
And this didn't qualify.
You know what? After we won against the car, I know the attorney was going to continue to pursue against the county and the city, and I don't know what happened because I'd already done all of my work on the case, and I'd already had everything piled up in a neat package.
Yeah.
And I didn't follow the case anymore. So he may have won against the county and the city. I don't know.
Yeah. I bet he pursued that. And I bet.
Yeah.
Because
I know that we sent the anti-libel letter.
I'm not even a lawyer. And I know that there's got to be a case against one of those.
Yeah.
Either the state or the county for not making it safe for pedestrians.
Well, it would have been the county or the city. It wouldn't have been the
county or the city, right? Yeah, county. That's what I mean. County.
But they would have had to have been some kind of negligence there, and it would have had to have been negligence. It would have had to have been gross negligence.
Right.
Now, where would the gross negligence be? That's what you have to look at. Where is the gross negligence?
Right. Yeah.
I'm working on a case now where a fire truck hit a parked car. A parked car.
Okay. Where was the car parked? Was it it wasn't a garage, was it?
On the side of the interstate. It ran out of gas, and it was on the side of the interstate, and the fire truck was going to a overturned crash on the interstate. And they were sitting on the soft shoulder on the left side of the highway. And they ran out of gas, and they were sitting still. They were illegally on the soft shoulder. Right. They should have been on the right side, and they were on the left side. And now, if a fire truck has these lights on, it is your duty to get out of the way of the fire truck. Right. And if you don't get out of the way of the fire truck, you can't sue. It's fire truck, ambulance, anything with their lights on, emergency. It's a law in the state of Georgia. Yeah. But there is an exception of gross negligence. And if you are stopped, disabled with your emergency lights on, and they hit you at 80 miles an hour, that's gross negligence.
Yeah.
So,
that's what's in this case that you're,
and that's this case. Yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah. That's an example of gross negligence.
Yeah.
So
were they on their way to a fire?
No, they were on their way to an overturned accident where a death was involved.
Accident. Right. They were overturned, so they didn't get there, I guess.
No, but here's the catcher. They were following a police car, and the police car missed the stopped car, and the fire truck didn't. Yeah, they had room to, but they misjudged it.
Was it? And there was nobody in the car, right?
No, there were 4 people in the car.
Oh my God!
Hit them at 80 mile an hour. No, they were injuries. Lift the car completely off all 4 wheels came off the ground.
Holy cow!
Think about that, Vinnie. A fire truck, 80 mile an hour.
Yeah,
hits a stopped car.
Yeah,
it was out of gas. It wasn't even running.
Yeah. And were the firemen okay?
I'm assuming. I don't know anything about the firemen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your responsibility as the driver of the fire truck to slow down and maneuver around a stopped, fixed object.
Right.
That's your responsibility.
Yeah. That's day one stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
When they're teaching you, hey, okay, look, you're going to be driving this big thing. Just day one, you got to get out of the way of stuff.
No. That's day one when you're getting your driver's license at 16.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When you see a stopped object, go around it.
Yeah, and it's not a plastic bag in the road.
Yeah.
It's got some girth to it. You might want to move out of the way.
Yeah. Regardless, Yeah.
Regardless.
Don't hit a fixed object. Go around it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the car pulled out into the front of it. The car was sitting there, and they could see it for a mile away. Yeah.
Was it during rush hour?
It doesn't matter, Vinnie. Yeah. Traffic was backed up for 25 miles.
Oh, because of the.
Okay, I'll set the scenario for you.
Okay.
A car flipped on 285.
Yeah.
Traffic was shut down.
Yeah.
Our client had sat in traffic so long they ran out of gas.
Oh, I see.
And they pushed the car to the soft shoulder, and they were sitting there twiddling their thumbs. And here comes the fire truck. Traffic was shut down. People had turned their cars off. Our client wasn't smart enough to turn their car off to save gas.
Yeah.
And they ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Because they were sitting still. They wasn't moving.
Right.
So to answer your question, I guess is yes, it was extreme rush hour.
It was extreme rush hour. Right.
And they were just sitting there half in the soft shoulder on the left side of the road. Cop comes buzzing by them. 2 seconds later, wham! Fire truck just pushes them out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If there's that much traffic on the road, stopped, engines off, I think I might take it down to 50 miles an hour. I don't think I'd be going 80, maybe 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to, sometimes common sense has to prevail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes you have to, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what your job is, what your profession is. Sometimes common sense has to prevail.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I seen a thing on X earlier today where I think it was in Los Angeles where there's a robbery in a Burlington's coat factory. Police comes in and they fire off 3 shots, and one of the shots goes through a wall and kills a little girl, kills an 11-year-old girl in a dressing room, hiding in a dressing room. And they found the police officer not guilty of manslaughter. But
really,
well, I understand. I'm kind of conflicted.
Yeah,
I'm
feeling very conflicted.
Well, yeah, because when you go into a place of business, you can't just fire off a high-powered rifle, because it was a high-powered rifle. Yeah. Because once again, common sense has to prevail.
Yeah.
You have to understand you're firing off a high-powered rifle. It's going to go through walls. It's going to go through the clothes. It's going to go through about everything. And if there's something on the other side of that wall, you're going to kill it.
Yeah.
And so that police officer has to have common sense and can't just go to firing off bullets randomly.
Yeah. Were these shots that he was firing at the criminals?
Yes.
Okay,
so
well, then that explains that. I mean,
yes, but no, Vinnie, no. You do not take a high-powered rifle into a crowded store and fire them off at burglars.
Yeah, I know. But when you first told me about this, I thought that he was doing a warning shot or something. And I'm going, well, why didn't he just fire into the ceiling? Why is he firing at a wall? But no, that explains it. He was firing at a criminal. But you're right. You're right. In a crowded store, why bring a smaller caliber weapon?
Bring a 9mm.
Millimeter.
You're less likely to shoot completely through the wall and kill somebody on the other side.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
I'm saying you're less likely for it to happen.
Yes.
Because a 9mm doesn't carry the velocity that a 7.62 or something, a high-powered rifle carries.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to go into a Burlington coat factory, for an example, if I fire a 9mm, it's not going to go through 4 or 5 coats or a rack of clothes and come out the other side.
Right.
If I fire a 5.65, it's going through those clothes and killing whoever's on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So should the cop be held responsible? Yes. He should have thought it through and he should have known better.
Yeah. He should at least, face some kind of fine or something, or suspension, or maybe get a desk job for the rest of his life, or that's just That's just bad,
decision making.
Yeah.
Yep. So if it would have been me,
Yeah.
listen, I was having a discussion with a buddy of mine the other day, a couple weeks ago, and he goes, "Why do you like your 45 so much?" I said, "Well, first off, he goes, I like to protect my house with my 30-06 or my or my 7.62." I said, "Yes." I said, "Well," I said, that's a good weapon of choice." I said, "If I'm out in the woods somewhere," I said, "but if I fire my 7.62," I said, "and shoot my criminal," I said, "it goes through my criminal and kills my neighbor."
Yeah.
I said, "But if I shoot my 45 and kill my burglar," I said, "the bullet falls before it gets to my neighbor's house."
Right.
And I said, "If I miss my suspect and it hits a 2x4, it falls before it gets to my neighbor's house."
Right.
I said, "That's why I like it." I said, "That's how I," and I said, I use double aught buck in my shotgun. And I said, same thing. I said, if I shoot that double aught buck and it hits my suspect, I said, it's not killing anybody behind him.
Yeah.
And I said, if I miss and it hits my wall, it's not killing anybody behind that wall.
Right.
I said, because it's not going to have enough power coming out behind that wall to go to my neighbor's house. I said, that high powered rifle is. I said, I said, I live in the city.
Yeah.
I said, that's why he goes, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I said, now that I brought it to your attention, I said, get yourself a 9 or a 45 to protect your house with, because you live in a condo. I said, because you could kill somebody 2 walls down, 3 walls down.
Hell yeah.
I said, don't. I said, if you're going to shoot somebody, I said, if somebody comes in your house, I said, don't go to prison because you killed a little girl 2 doors down.
Yeah.
Don't. I said, think things through. But be reasonable about it. I said, if I get in a gunfight, I don't want to kill somebody by accident. A 45 drops so fast because the bullet's so big. A 45 drops so fast and so hard. You're not going to be lucky. And it's not going to, if it goes through a 2x4, it's dead. It's coming out the other side and falling. It's gone. So that's why I like my 45 to protect my house with, or my my pumpkin balls or my double aught buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to think these things through. I don't want to kill an innocent bystander. I could never. It would. My soul and my conscience couldn't stand it if I killed an innocent bystander.
Agreed. 100%.
Even if it was a 90-year-old person on oxygen with 3 days left to live, I don't want that on my conscience.
Heck yeah. I agree.
I don't want that on my conscience.
Yes.
If the priest is standing there giving them their last rites, I don't want to be the one to take them out.
This episode is brought to you by the Accident Attorneys of Monge and Associates, voted the best law firm by the American Institute of Trial Lawyers. When life hits you hard with a serious injury, don't let insurance companies hit you harder with lowball offers and endless runaround. You deserve justice. You deserve compensation. You deserve to win. The Accident Attorneys of Monge and Associates have a high-powered legal team with a nationwide reach and the highest rating on the National Attorney Rating Service. Trial Magazine calls them one of the most influential law firms in America. They win big. Big results at trial court, appeals court, the state Supreme Court, and are recognized as award-winning litigators of the year. The Accident Attorneys of Monge and Associates handle everything so you can heal. Don't face this battle alone. The aftermath of an accident is traumatic enough. Medical bills pile up, pain overwhelms, emotions run high, and that's where they step in to shoulder the legal fight while you focus on what truly matters, your recovery. They are the first law firm to offer a bigger settlement guarantee. If they can't beat the amount of your current settlement with a bigger settlement offer, your legal fees are free. Ready to win your case? Find out in one phone call if you have a case and how much your case is really worth. Call the accident attorneys of Monge and Associates today at 1-888-477-0597 or visit them online at becauseyouwanttowin.com.
If I was a police officer and I went into a situation, I would never raise my high-powered rifle in a Burlington coat factory and start racking off shots.
Right.
Because even if you hit your suspect, that high-powered rifle is going to go straight through him and get whoever's on the backside. So it just,
That's stupid.
Just stupid. Just stupid.
Yeah.
This
is what's on the force.
And this is what's on the force. Yeah. This is the best that California can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vinnie, people are so trigger happy, and so, right here in Georgia, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a guy. He went into a it was like a post office, but there was where they have the mailboxes, where you go in and you just check your mail.
Yeah.
And there's not a clerk or anything in there. And he was threatening to kill himself, and he had a gun. Police officer, high-powered rifle, goes in and shoots and kills the guy. And the news story comes out, and the guy was getting ready to go through a divorce. His wife was threatening to divorce him, and he was having financial trouble. And, if this police officer would have, and he never pointed his gun at the police officer. He was sitting down and he had the gun between his legs. And they were hailing the police officer a hero. I think that police officer should have been brought up on charges.
Me too.
Because all this guy wanted was somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
The guy was lonely, he was depressed. If it would have been me, now would I have went in armed? Sure. Would I went in with the gun pointed at the guy? Sure.
Yeah.
Would I have went in with my finger on the trigger? No.
No.
I would have went in and I would have said, buddy, would you talk to me?
Yeah.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Can you just talk to me? Can you tell me what's going on? Why are you so upset?
Yeah.
Can we talk about it? And
Right.
I bet you money that the guy would have talked to him and have walked out with him.
Oh yeah.
But yet, this trigger-happy cop had to get a killing under his belt.
Yeah.
And I bet you till this day, he's still talking about it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That's disgusting. The guy should be put in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah, killed a guy who wasn't even pointing a gun at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we give police officers the power, we give them the guns, like that. They need to protect themselves like that, but they shouldn't be trigger-happy assholes.
No.
Yeah.
Vinnie, ever since I seen that news story, this has bothered me. It's bothered me because this guy I know for a fact this guy only wanted somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
This was just a lonely guy who was getting ready to go through a divorce, and he just had his financial problems, and he just wanted somebody to talk to.
I bet this jerk off cop tells the story. I stopped a suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. It just there's so many people. Listen, I know cops and I know police officers like Ken. Ken was a wonderful guy. He is a wonderful guy. When he was a police officer, Ken would bend over backward. Ken Kraus calls me till this day and says, Lynn, I got a friend I need you to help out. He goes, well, they're not really a friend. It was somebody I met when I was a police officer and I don't really know him. He says, but can you help them out?
Yeah.
And he says, they're not, he says, I don't know them that good, but I'll pay you to help them.
Right.
He said, don't charge them. I'll pay you.
Yeah.
Till this day. And
Yeah.
Ken's been off the force for 7 or 8 years now, 10 years.
Yeah.
And Ken, it's somebody that Ken met while he was on the force that he needed his help, and he helped him out, and he keeps them in his Rolodex, and they'll call him up and say, Ken, whatever the situation is, my father needs help, or my brother needs help, or my mother needs help. And Ken still offers his help and says, I'll pay for the initial work on this, Lynn, and then they'll have to take over from there.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good guy.
Now and I got another buddy of mine who's a police officer. Nicest man in the world, will bend over backward for you. And if you called him up and says, I got a flat tire, can you come and change it for me? He wouldn't even say, well, you're a healthy guy, you change it. He would come and change your flat for you.
Yeah.
Do anything in the world for you. But then you got these other ones, these other police officers that are just, I don't know if they're cowards or afraid of their own shadow.
They're just punching a time clock.
I guess they're just punching a time clock.
They're earning a paycheck, you know,
Yeah.
and there's no, I mean, the code of the police to serve, protect, all that stuff, it means nothing. This is just a gig, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but why write all these tickets? Why write tickets when you know they're going to be thrown out?
Right.
And they're not going to stick, and you cause all this trouble for a man in a wheelchair, or when you walk into or when you go into a situation where that you got a man with a gun in a Burlington coat factory, and you rack off a bunch of shots with a high-powered rifle. I mean, surely you're trained in your training to know better than these things. Are you not taught critical thinking?
Apparently not.
I mean, as a police officer, it's not only it's life and death, but it's not only your life. I mean, when you bring that gun up to your shoulder, everybody else's life around you matters. And yes. and when you pull that trigger, you have to be responsible for what comes out of the end of that barrel.
Yes.
And if you negligently pull that trigger and kill somebody, and you don't know what's behind that then you should be responsible. I'm sorry, but I mean, you have to think that through, especially when you go into a crowded. I mean, if you go into a retail store after hours when the doors are locked and they're supposed to be closed, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But when you go in during business hours in a burglary in process, you have to think there might be other people in there.
100%.
And surely you're taught this in your training.
Yeah, but they're not there to be cops. They're there just to collect a paycheck. So they're not paying attention to that. It's like being a C- student in school. Well, I graduated, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Vinnie, but a C- is not good enough for that job.
No, it's not.
Listen, there's certain jobs that you do that you have to be better at than everybody else. You have to be held to a higher standard.
I agree.
And
doctor
if you
is one, doctor,
yep.
Yeah, dentists, police officers. Yeah.
And if you're not willing to be held to that higher standard, then don't do that job.
Yeah.
Now, myself, I hold myself to a higher standard in everything I do every day.
Yeah.
And I'm just
that's
proud
That's
person.
why you've had a 30+ year career, because of that.
Well, exactly. But I'm a proud person. And it's not just in my career, Vinnie. It's in everything I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mediocre.
Absolutely.
I want to be the best at what I do every time I do it.
Yeah.
I want to be, I don't want to be, I get mad at myself for the stupidest things, because I want to be better. I want to be better.
Yeah.
I hold myself to that higher standard in everything I do. Um, and I don't understand why, as a police officer, you wouldn't hold yourself to that higher standard and be proud to hold yourself to that higher standard.
Absolutely.
I don't understand why you wouldn't do that.
I don't. It's the world we're living in now. People just don't care anymore. They don't take any pride in anything anymore. Just give me my money. Give me my money. Is my cable on? Do I have my beer? Okay, everything's fine. I don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah, I seen a video of a police officer where we'll talk about this case in a couple weeks or a couple months or something. But I seen a video of a police officer where there was a shooting involved, and after the family fought for months, they finally got the dash cam of a second car who showed up after the shooting, where the cop who done the shooting was sitting in the car of a second cop. And he goes, "This is the story we're telling. This is what we're going to tell." So they made up a story that they were going to tell after the fact, and it was actually caught on dash cam.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned this before. We never got into it, but yeah, you mentioned that before. That's crazy.
Yeah, and nothing's been done about it. The police officer's still on the street.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. And once again, if I was that police officer's supervisor, I would remove him from the street, because I couldn't stand. I would say, look, we either remove him from the street, or I go to the press and reveal this, and I resign my position, because
I don't want to be a part of it.
I don't want to be a part of this. We have to be held to a higher standard. This is not who we are. This is not what we do.
Yeah, we don't make a mistake and then cover it up with bullshit.
No. If we make a mistake and put somebody on the street that shouldn't be here, then we have to acknowledge our mistake, and we have to move forward. There's no question. We have to admit it and move on. That's how we get better.
And handle it. And
handle
consequences.
It. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's no question about it. We have to.
Yeah.
Just, we don't cover it up.
That's right.
We do. There's no covering it up.
That's right.
So Vinny, it blows my mind. I swear, and how you can do another human being that way.
Right.
How you can do another human that way.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, and live with yourself. It's just beyond me.
It can get depressing if you spend too much time thinking about it.
Yeah, it can be depressing. That's why I don't do social media. That's why I run from that stuff. It's just depressing, Vinny.
Buddy, I tell you what, I would stay off of it in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, I'm in a business where that is just a necessary evil.
Yeah.
That's why I say every week, hey, check out my social media, follow me, la, 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 la. It's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
And it makes me sick.
Well, you make people laugh though. So.
Right. Well, I try to.
Yeah. You're not on there, doing disgusting things and throwing rocks through windows and beating up.
Or spreading BS. Me and my wife were talking about this today. There are people on these sites that all they do is spout misinformation just to get clicks, because now people can get paid just for engagement.
Yeah.
The more clicks that their posts get, the more engagement their post gets, then the site can put advertising on their feeds and then make money, and then the people get a part of that money. So people have no problem with stoking anger and
misinformation,
discourse.
Yeah,
just to make a couple of bucks. So the internet has really turned into this awful, awful place.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like, you ever walk through a seedy part of town where it's all porn shops and
Yeah.
porn and pawn
Yeah.
and pawn shops and bail bondsmen and all that stuff, and it's just, you just get this feeling of, ew, where am I? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
let's not talk about pawn shops, Vinny. I like pawn shops. I get good deals there.
okay, maybe not pawn shops, okay, but there's all, you know, adult stores and bail
I know what you're
bonds,
talking about.
you know,
Yeah.
and you just get this sick feeling like, where am I? This is like,
Yeah.
that's how the internet feels now. It just feels
Yeah.
like a seedy part of town that you just
Yeah.
avoid. Hey, thanks for being here, guys. We do so appreciate it. If you like, here I go again, Lynn. If you like goofy videos and stand-up comedy, check me out online. All the links to my social media are right on my website, www.vinnie.com. That's Vinnie.com. If you are looking for someone, need to surveil someone or serve someone papers, Lynn Lambdin is the best. Tell them your website.
www.lwias.com.
And once again, thank you, Simple Funding and the accident attorneys at Monge and Associates, for sponsoring this episode. And thank you all for being here. We'll see you next week.